Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Today, it's a good day. We are exploring the Dhamma, and we maybe finished the 7th chapter, which has been very inspiring and informative. And the best will be when we start recognizing all of these groupings in our daily lives. Much more clarity for practice. We are going on that direction, and we're about to start after this the 8th chapter, which we might need some time for preparation. But anyway, we will tell you later. And everybody ready?
Okay, so yes, let's start by paying respect to the Buddha as every day.
Yes. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Yes.
Okay, so let's start today. Today we are going to the last section in the chapter 7, which is called the Sabhasangaha, the compendium of all. But before we go into this section, there are something about the last week's content. Last week the last thing that we saw was path factors, Maganga. And there are a few details that we need to share with you before we entered into the compendium of all. Just very briefly and interesting information. And then we will go to this last section. And in this last section, there are only 4 items. So probably we will be able to finish. But these items, they are something that we have already heard about a lot of times. So they are not complicated, but we might need a little bit attention. So later I will tell you. I hope you are not too
from resting, tired from resting on the weekend. Sometimes we feel more tired after the resting.
Yes, so we will need a little bit of attention just to separate what is what, but it is going to be okay. Okay, so let's start with the details of Maganga. Everybody ready?
Yep, everybody yes. Look.
Okay.
Ah, Carito, very enthusiastic, very good.
Okay, so Magangas, path factors, as we know that in the last sections, Bodhipakkhya, the requisites for enlightenment, that this Maganga is only the Noble Eightfold Path, not only the right path, not the wrong path. No. So this Noble Eightfold Path, we have seen previously that it is divided into 3 sections. The first 2, it's Panya.
The first 2 elements of the 8.
Yes, this the first 2, Panya. Then they'll have 3 silas, and then we have 3 samadhi. So it's divided into these 3 groups. So sila, samadhi, panya, the whole teachings of the Buddha, in simple words, sila, samadhi, panya, divided into the Noble Eightfold Path, like the whole practice. No. So if we see it in a list, that it will also be clear. Right thought and right view belongs to panya. Then right speech, right action, and right livelihood belongs to sila.
The way to keep our voice and physical actions wholesome.
Then we have right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration that belongs to samadhi. Now here, right view, the ultimate reality is panya itself, no? But right thought, it is samasankappa. It is actually vitaka, remember? Vitaka cetasika, no? So vitaka is actually, it is not panya, but why is it included in the panya group? So the Sayadaws, they explain that because samasankappa vitaka, it brings the mind to the object. It brings the mind to the object. So with right thought, it brings the mind to the object, and all the other factors can do their job concerning this object. No, so right view can also arise. So right thought is important because it guides everybody, bring it to that object. So it is included in the panya group. And also it is the right thought, guiding the mind to the right direction. Right thought we have previously explored about nekkhamma, about renunciation,
metta,
compassion, etc. No? Okay, so now here we have the sila, samadhi, and panya, 3 groups here. And now there is a question now. While we are practicing Vipassana meditation, does all 8 factors arise in the mind? That is the question. So what do you think?
When we practice?
Yes, when we practice Vipassana meditation.
Well, if we no, because if that happened, we will have the enlightenment moment. So I think we only approach. It's a preliminary path, not the noble path.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Fernando. Yes. So, and what Fernando just mentioned, it will come just 3 slides later, about actually this path. It is called path factor, no? So it must be during the Magga moment, in the enlightened moment, that is all 8 is present there, no? Yes. So when we are practicing Vipassana meditation, actually it is called Pubbagga Magga. So that means the Pubbagga means the former part. So the former part of the Magga. So we practice these factors in order to attain Magga and Phala, no? So, but without them also we cannot attain. So these are the practice, which is called former part. They are also path factors, but not strictly speaking, not exactly the Magga factors during the Magga yet, no? And here another important thing is that during meditation, during Vipassana meditation, we are cultivating these kinds of factors, this kind of ingredients or beautiful qualities in the mind. But during meditation, we are not trying to say anything, actually. Right speech, so not necessary. We are not
the viratis, the abstinences are not present because we are not talking at that time.
We're not talking. And then right action, we are not stealing, we are not killing, and we are not doing any of these things. And we also do not have occasions to abstain from, because we are just practicing meditation. So, and right livelihood also not.
We are not working at that time.
So actually, most of the time in Vipassana meditation, these 3, this sila part is not present actually at the moment of practice, no? So only these 5, no?
Which is what is called bhavana. You remember the mental cultivation, the part of the mental stability and the wisdom that arise out of it. And sila was a base to be able to stabilize the mind and get the wisdom.
Yes, and of course, although these 3 is they are not included, but it is considered there, because suppose the person, they take precepts before they practice meditation, no? So they take precepts of not killing, or not, anyway, the 5 precepts, or the 8 precepts, 9 precepts, or the 10 precepts, or the monks' precepts, no? So therefore it is considered there, but actually it may not arise at that moment because there is no occasion for it. So now we have the samadhi part and the panya part. These 5 are actually the one who does the work of the meditation, because we applied effort, we stay mindful, then the mind is concentrated,
develop concentration, and then
develop understanding,
or keep the teachings of the Four Noble Truths and the law of karma present on the mind, and the detachment and love,
and the understanding of nature, how it works. No? So these 5 factors is called the karaka maganga. Karaka in Pali, that means workers. So they are the workers of the path. No?
Karaka comes from the word karoti, which means doing. So karaka will be that who does.
Yes,
the worker, the one who is doing the real job in terms of mental cultivation and stability.
The workers. So these 5 are called karaka maganga, the workers. No?
The workers of the factors of enlightenment.
Yes. Okay. So at the moment of Vipassana meditation, when the meditation is going good, these 5 must be in balance. No, if you see that they are many times, they are also included in the indriyas and also other factors.
Different groupings. We have seen them repeatedly.
So anyway, so these are the 5 that are the workers. So this is one point, and then now we will come to come to the point where Fernando was mentioning. So here, strictly speaking, the Noble Eightfold Path, all the 8 factors arise all together only at the moment of Magga and Phala. Therefore, they are called the Maganga, no? The path factors, no? The factors that constitute the path, no? The Magga.
Constitute, no? The path.
Yes, and also if you remember previously when we studied Chitasika, those 3 viratis, the
abstinences,
the right speech and the right action and the right livelihood, they actually for Putujana or when we practice, they never arise together. Because when we are doing right, refraining from telling lies, we are not refraining from stealing or refraining from wrong livelihood. No, so depending on the occasion, so one or the other. When there is an occasion to tell lies, we refrain from telling lies. So we are at that moment we are not refraining from killing, but we are refraining from telling lies. So they cannot arise together.
In the mental, we're talking about mental moments, yes. Right? You can be non-harming and non-abusing by the word at the same time, according to our normalcy of experience. But in ultimate, we know,
in the one chitta, yes. I'm talking about in one chitta. But at the moment of Magga, these 3 arise all together in the same time. All 3. Because at that moment, the mind, only when the mind uproots these defilements, certain types of defilements, no? Then when a person becomes Sotapanna, then he can no longer break the 5 precepts anymore, no? Because he has uprooted those defilements that leads to that kind of action. So for good, they will refrain from killing and stealing and bad words and all these things. Intoxication. So all these things are uprooted at that moment. So therefore, they arise. All 3 arise together at the same time, only in the Magga and Phala moments.
And since those actions, breaking the basic 5 precepts, is what bring us to lower realms, that's why the Sotapanna at that time, he cannot go down anymore. Because not because he's Sotapanna, because actually he's established himself that he cannot break any of these 5 unwholesome actions anymore. So the cause for going low it will not be present on him, so he's saved. He will only reborn, close the door down, and he can reborn as a human being or as we have seen higher realms. Yes.
Yes. So then strictly speaking, so during meditation, as we said previously, is called Upādānakkhandha, the former part of the factors. So not all of them arise together. Mostly the workers, the karaka, the 5, arise and develop in the practice. Then during Magga, and then all the 8 of them arise together. So that's why they are called Magganga. No, so in the Lokuttara chittas, they do arise together. Okay, but although strictly speaking, during Vipassana meditation, they are not strictly speaking, not really path factors yet, but they are former part. Without them, we do not arrive. We practice the mundane Magganga in order to attain the supramundane Maggangas. No? Okay, so that is the also another thing. Actually, the Lokiya, supramundane,
Lokuttara supramundane,
supramundane Magganga is not to be practiced because it is actually the result of the practice. No, so it is the result of the practice. So we don't practice actually the Lokuttara Magganga. We always practice the Lokiya Magganga.
Yeah, I just got the image, like if a basketball player is making effort to come to the net and then he throws the thing, that's until there is his effort. His shot is the last effort. The falling of the ball through the net and making a point, that's just an effect. So we work for it with the causes, and the effect just happened at that time. Everything just came together based on the previous effort of the sila and the mental stability.
Yes, but remember, Magga is Magga is the cause and Phala is the vipaka. No? So Magga is still Lokiya is still doing the work, because its work, the arising of Magga Chitta, its work is to cut the defilements on its roots. No, It is what it
Finish.
does. Then the result, vipaka citta phala, arise immediately next moment.
Yes. Akaliko.
Yes.
Without delay.
Okay, so until here, we finished the details about
Last week.
Maganga, about last week. So now we will go to the next section, Sava Sangaha, the compendium
Sava
of all.
Sangaha.
Okay, everybody ready?
Everybody okay?
Ready to start a new section?
Good.
Okay.
New section and almost done.
Yes, okay. So now this section is called Sava Sangaha, the compendium of all or the compendium of the whole. So here, this all or this whole, this Sava actually means all the Paramata Dhammas. So all the ultimate realities is included in these groupings. So what are they? Chitta, Chittasika, Rupa, and Nibbana. No?
The four ultimate realities.
No? So all of them will be included.
Consciousness, mental ingredients, matter, and Nibbana. That which is non-mind, non-matter, non-created, non-dependent on.
Okay, the first one is something that we have talked about before, and it's also something that we see a lot of times. So this coming few groups are actually important because we see them a lot of time in many places, in suttas, in Abhidhamma, in every place.
And it's also it's also important because even after we see them many times, it apparently still some confusion among them. So it's never too much to take a look on them. What are the 5 aggregates, the 5 khandhas? Pancha, 5, khandha, aggregates.
Yes, yes. So the first group is the 5 aggregates itself. Now the 5 aggregates here, as we have talked before, it is actually just nama and rupa, no? Mind and matter. So which in a further division is mind is divided into chitta and cettasika, but at the end we are talking about only mind and matter. Yes.
Before that, that will be what we call I, me. I first in the rawest, most ignorant way, the idea, I would say attached way, I would say I, this, me, of course, or you. But then later on we see mind and matter, and then mind is subdivided into chitta, cettasika, and as we will see now, rupa as well. We start having different subdivisions, and when we get cettasika, we because of the importance, you remember the Buddha separated 2 cettasikas which are important for practice, which is Vedana and Sanya, the perception of the mind, the ability of our minds to perceive, and the ability of our minds to feel pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. And in Sankara, mental formations, in ultimate reality, as we know, is all the other 50 mental cettasika, mental ingredients. So we have the 52, only 2 of them because of their importance to take an eye on it are separated. But actually, all of the cettasikas are there.
Yes, so Bhante already just I'm trying to go follow his words and then try to go with the projection. So let's go until where he already talked about.
No, but I didn't mention chitta. You can go with chitta.
Chitta is actually all kinds of chitta, no? So it's vijnana. So 89 or 121 chittas included in the Upādānakkhandha. Then we have Vedanakkhandha, Sanyakkhandha, Sankharakhandha, and Rupakhandha. No, so it is divided. Actually, still Nama and Rupa only cettasika divided into 3, and also the numbers Bhante already also gave us. Although Sankhara is also Vedana and Sanya also cettasikas, but they are not included in this group because of their importance, as Bhante said. Now, why are these 2 separated out? Bhante also say that because they are important. So according to the explanations of Sayadaw, he says that in the Buddha's teaching, it is important that, the whole Buddha's teaching is for us to become dispassionate about samsara, dispassionate, sorry, to come out of samsara, because of this continuous existence. It's very tiring. We have to go out of this continuous existence. Now, Vedana and Sanya are important factors that prolong our existence in the samsara. That's why they are separated out. That's why these 2, the Buddha especially mentioned them. Why is that so? Vedana is the cetasika that feels or enjoy or experience the object, no? Remember? And now for Vedana, in order for Vedana to fully experience the object, it needs some kind of flavor or spices for the Vedana to fully enjoy it. And that flavor is provided by Sanya.
The perception of experience.
Yeah, because most of the time we are deceived by the sanya to perceive things as beautiful, as permanent. Because of sanya, we think the things are nice, they are good, they are permanent. So therefore, we fully experience it, and then we like it, and when we want this, and then we want that.
Because of wrong sanya. Yeah, we perceive what is impermanent as permanent, what is unsatisfactory as satisfactory, what is non-self as self,
and what is not beautiful as beautiful. No? So because of this kind of sanya, then Vedana fully enjoy the object, and because of Vedana, tanha arises.
Desire
arises because of this experience. We like the experience, we want to feel, so tanha arises.
And because of desire, we plan more actions, we do more, we search for more, then we plant more seeds, we are bound to have more fruits. So the whole tree of life, how to say, the tree of samsara continue giving fruits and fruits.
So therefore, these two, sanya and vedana, they are important factors too, that contributes to the prolongation of our existence in samsara.
So it's necessary to have an eye on them.
So therefore, the Buddha separated them out to show their importance, and that we have to pay attention to it.
Cleaning our perception with wisdom, accompanying our perception, as long as we bring wisdom on it and know the nature of reality, and also developing some degree of equanimity towards Vedana. In that way, if we just experience pleasant as pleasant, fine, pleasant exists, there is nothing wrong about it, but I need to check make sure that no attachment arises of it, because the problem is that actually attachment, not pleasant or unpleasant.
That is natural.
If unpleasant arises, our job is to take care that the mind doesn't develop aversion towards it, etc., etc. So just to keep an eye on them, nothing wrong.
Yes.
Just to clean them by accompanying them with the wisdom we acquire through study and experience.
Yes, because Vedana is a universal cetasika. No, we cannot avoid it. We will feel anyway. Vedana, it surely arises. But tanha, that is lobha, whether it arises or not, that is option.
It's an option. What we are talking right now is based on the Paticca teaching, which is preparing for next chapter is what we're gonna start looking, and is maybe, well, not maybe, the deepest, the two of the deepest teachings of the Buddha, the relations of cause and effect, and this comes in Paticca. We are sure after the next chapter, we all will have it very clear. What does it mean?
Yes. Okay, so with this, we have Vijnānakkhandha, which is all the chittas. Then we have Vedanakkhandha, Sannyakhandha, Sankharakhandha, the 50 cetasikas, except these two. And then we have Rupakhandha, all the 28 rupas. And now here in the aggregates, 5 aggregates part, Nibbana is not included. Although it is the compendium of all, out of all ultimate realities, here only Chitta, Cetasika, and Rupa is included in this classification. Nibbana is not included because it does not arise and pass away.
It's not dependent.
It is not included in this aggregate section.
It's out of that, actually.
It's out of that.
No mind is Nibbana, is no mind and no matter. Yes.
Okay, so until here we all
Everybody okay?
We all good?
Yes.
Okay.
Looking good.
Yes. So let's go to the second category, which is very related to this one, and also it is a word that we listen to a lot of times, and it is called the Upādānakkhandha. Upādānakkhandha. So Upādāna, as we have seen in the first sections, the sections about the unwholesome factors, unwholesome categories, Upādāna, we have seen there. Upa means firmly, Ādana means taking. So,
Dana, you remember, means giving. So adana, the negation of
the
giving,
opposite,
taking.
The opposite of giving, which is taking.
Or firm. I don't give.
Taking.
I don't give. It's mine. Attachment.
Not give or taking, the opposite of giving, so taking. So here, strong attachment or strongly taking the object is called Upādāna.
As mine.
So Upādāna, khandha is aggregate. So here we might think that it is like strongly taking the aggregates. No, but actually it means the aggregates of clinging. So that means the aggregates that are the objects of clinging. That means those aggregates that lobha can take.
Those aggregates or things that lobha gets attached to or can get attached
or can
to.
Can become object of
of that upadana, of that taking, strong taking, mind, attachment.
So mostly it is translated as clinging or grasping. No, so in the previous section we have seen that when lobha gets into a higher degree or gets stronger, then it becomes upadana.
Attachment.
And ultimate reality is still lobha.
Upadana, it's actually, lobha sometimes feels even pleasant, isn't it? When we are desiring something and looking for it, it's like, what? But then later on, when we get the thing, we get attached to it, and then we lost it. Actually, the real source of the suffering comes when we didn't take care of the desire. It developed onto attachment. Desire, when it is strong, when it gains energy, it becomes attachment, and that is the very source of the suffering. So at that moment is when the suffering totally arises. When we already consider it mine, we don't want it to change, we don't want it to move, we don't want it to go, we don't want it to die, and then dukkha, because nature is just moving as it knows.
Yes, lobha also dukkha in a lesser degree. Upādāna much stronger.
Lobha is suffering with makeup. We can say like that. It's a very pretty.
It's a suffering that we like it.
It's a suffering, it's a very pretty suffering. But Upādāna, nothing beautiful about it. It's real.
Yes. So it's the strong attachment of strongly taking the higher degree of lobha, no? That's called Upādāna. And as Bhante said, nothing beautiful. The example given by previously is like a snake getting bite of a mouse. Then once it is bitten there, it will never let go.
It will never let go.
So that kind of feeling, or that is called Upādāna.
That kind of action our mind does with everything we call mine. My things, my relations, my whatever, my idea, the mind can develop this clinging very tightly to the degree of fighting for it or whatever comes in the world. Wow, very strong image, no? Like the Buddha gave very powerful examples.
Okay, so in the previous section, when we talked about Upādāna, then we have seen that there are 4 kinds of Upādāna. Kamupādāna, clinging to the sensual pleasure. Ditthupādāna, clinging to the wrong view.
To the wrong ideas.
Silabbatupadāna, clinging to wrong practice. Then we have the
or rites and rituals, as often is translated.
Upādāna, clinging of the opinion of a self, of the atta. So 4 kinds of Upādāna, but in ultimate reality, it is just 2 cetasikas. Clinging to sensual pleasure is lobha, and the other 3 to wrong view, wrong practice, and of the idea of atta are ditti.
Wrong view. So desire and wrong view. So which as you remember, wrong view is also from the family of lobha. It's lobha group. So actually it's all lobha. That's why the Buddha, when the Buddha says in the second noble truth, which we will see today, hopefully, it just refers to desire. It's these 2 guys, the ones who are making the trouble, especially the one who has ignorance, and then we attach to something, we attach to things that we think they're gonna bring us well-being and happiness, but we are actually attached to things that gives the appearance of, but it just continues the suffering more and more when we attach, and then nature just with its movements makes things change.
Yes. So here, Loba and Diti, as we already know, they are different cetasikas, but they are Loba group. No, both of them are Loba group. So in ultimate reality of Upādāna, the clinging is actually Loba and Diti. These two.
Yes. Yes.
What do you think?
Yeah, and in general, we can say that it's the same loba, just one is more attached in general terms. Is attached, it desires matter or things or relations, and the other one likes mind, likes idea. So actually, it's desire, view, the views or the mental ideas or wrong ideas in this case that we have. One is attached to things or matter thing, external, relations, people, and the other one is about ideas. I mean, in general terms, no? But yes, but both of them finally is just attached, desire and attachment.
Yes. It's important that they to remember they are different cetasikas, because in the first stage of enlightenment, Sotapanna, Diti is totally eradicated. So this
but not Loba.
Yeah, so wrong
Loba
view,
continue.
Will be eradicated, but the Loba will not be eradicated. But
Loba decrease a lot.
Decrease until the last moment of Arahata, until Arahata Maga, Loba will be totally eradicated. But don't think that it is about sensual pleasure, no? Because we are talking about Upādāna, so here is sensual pleasure. But those one that is to be eradicated in Arahata Maga, that one can be mana also, and other Loba, other
kinds of Loba.
Loba group. Anyway, okay, so let's see. Among the five, we are talking about the 5 aggregates of clinging, no, here in the second group. So about these 5 aggregates of clinging, we have to see. Now, first, the 5 aggregates we have just seen in right now, and among these 5 aggregates, what cannot be taken by Loba and Diti? Mostly everything. No, what is out of the reach of Loba and Diti? Now, for example, how about generosity, like kindness or wisdom or like this? Do you think they can become object of Loba or Diti? Possible, no? Yes, possible. So we know that it is not out of reach of Loba, because we can, for example, in the mind, it can arise like we did a good deed. We take that generosity. We become proud of being generous. Then we take that generosity as object, and then we developed attachment, or we develop greed, or whatever
or ego about it.
So
we can also get attached to wisdom or to the teaching. I mean, whatever the mind can touch, if we don't pay close attention, it can grasp it.
Yes. So the only things that are out of the reach of Loba and Diti are actually only the Lokutara states, which is Maga, or the Maga Chittas, or the Phala Chittas, and Nibbana, no? So this is out of the reach of Loba. So therefore, here in this group, about the 5 aggregates of clinging, since it is objects of Loba, so in here, in the 5 aggregates, we have to take out something. We have to take out the Maga Chittas and the Phala Chittas. So this to become
Upādānakkhandha,
the consciousness aggregate of clinging.
Whatever the mind can grasp and hold. Because remember that when Maga happens, when the enlightenment, desire is not there. So how come you get that one? Because that was the reason for the enlightenment to happen, especially in the highest.
Yes, and also we have not experienced it yet. No, so Loba cannot take it as its object. Also,
yes.
No. So here we have to take out the 4 Maga and 4 Phala. So for for this group, Upādānakkhandha,
only the worldly Lokiya Chittas, the common Chittas that we experience, can be grasped by desire. The other ones are beyond the world, beyond the reach of Loba and Diti. Yeah.
Now, then for Vedana Sanya,
beyond the reach of I was about to say beyond the reach of attachment. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So Vedana Sanya and Sankhara, here also we have to take away those cetasika that associate with the Lokiya Chittas. Actually, of course, Vedana is associated with everything, no? And also with all kinds of chitta, but those that are associated with the Magga chitta and Phala chitta are not included here. So we can say it in simple words. Well, Rupa is it's nothing about Lokuttara, so it's always Lokiya, it's always mundane. No?
The matter is always in the world, material world. So
it's always the same. So here we can, in simple words, the 5 aggregates of clinging are actually all Lokiya states, all mundane states. All mundane states, in simple words. No?
All what we will experience before we get enlightened, that can be attached to.
Yes. Okay. Now, the Buddha explained it about the 5 aggregates of clinging actually for Vipassana meditation. So why is it why do we have to separate 5 aggregate and the 5 aggregates of clinging? So the Buddha explained about this group because of Vipassana meditation, because one cannot take Lokuttara states as Vipassana meditation object, no? So only mundane states are to be taken as the Vipassana meditation object. So when the mind is being kept on these 5 aggregates of clinging at that time, then we are practicing Vipassana, and then by practicing, by taking as object this kind of 5 aggregates of clinging, then we contemplate the nature or the characteristics of these dhammas, like they are their own characteristics first. Like, for example, lobha, it is sticky, and dosa, it wants to destroy, their own characteristics. And then we understand that all states have the same 3 characteristics of dukkha, anicca, and anatta, no? So by practicing in this way, then the mind understand and attain Magga and Phala. So these are objects of Vipassana meditation. Therefore, it is separated in this way. Well, also just to mention again, among the rupas, there are only 18 concretely produced rupa meditation object. No, those other ones are its characteristics. So they are not really rupa. So we don't take those as a Vipassana object as well. Although it is included in the object of clinging. Okay, so until
everybody
here,
okay?
Is it clear?
Everybody
Everything
okay?
Clear?
We're going a little bit quick because we have seen many of these things before.
Yeah, actually it's not complicated.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so we go to the next grouping, and then we go to the ayatanas, which we can understand the Buddha just is changing just the lens of the microscope. In the normal one, I say I. We put one lens, we put glasses, and then we see, oh, mind and rupa. And then we put another glass, more magnification, and we say, mind and rupa is the 5 aggregates. And if we put another layer, the Buddha was very, very explicit, and depending to whom he was talking, how much knowledge the person had, how much detail the Buddha went and says, look, the problem is happening right here. So he went like a scientist and explaining from the same object, the
5x,
different, 12x, and or 100x. Now we go to the next x, which is the same 5 aggregates, but now in the ayatanas, in the 12, and now it was 1 when I say I, me, mine, it was only 1, me.
But actually,
and then we have
ultimate reality.
Yes,
so always 2.
But yes, I'm going to the from the lowest ignorant way of looking at the same thing as a concept, and then we have the 2. And then we have the 2 namarupa, then we have the 5, and now we have the 12 ayatanas, which you will see is the same, but just looking at it with more detail.
Yes.
Different perspective and grouping, which is useful for practice in different moments.
It's very important because many times these ayatanas or the next group dhātu elements, I'm sure you have heard about it, no? Ayatanas and dhātus and khandhas, all this come out all the time in the suttas. So it is important that we know exactly what they are. No, yes. Actually they are the same thing, different classification as Bhante said. No, because in the times of the Buddha, some people, the Buddha, he knows that this person, his panya parami is already very developed. Only by the two words nama and rupa they understand. Then another person, they need a little bit more detail. So according to the temperament of the person, so the Buddha explained the
more.
5 aggregates. Then some other people, they are more oriented to rupa. They need a little bit more information about
then the
that.
Buddha
then the Buddha gave 12. Then and so on. Now we will come to.
We will have one more, which is the dhatus. Now we will see both of them, so you know it's the same. It's just the degree of division.
Yes. So here is where I said that we need a little bit of attention because it is like just separated into different group.
The same thing.
What into what? So it might sound a little bit more items, but
actually,
it is
the same
thing.
And as a reminder, my dear family, all of these are talking about us. We are the 5 khandhas. Our mind and bodies are 5 khandhas. We are the nama and rupa. It is us. We have these ayatanas. You will recognize it is us.
Same thing.
Continue looking. It's just different ways of classifying the human anatomy, including mind and matter. Okay, let's go.
Okay, so ayatanas in the translation usually is translated as base. Then Seattle Silananda explained it's like a base, a house, or a place, or ayatana means this, you know. So a place or house or base of what? So actually of chitta, no. So these are called base or house of consciousness because consciousness depend on them to arise. So now we are going to see different groups of which chitta depends on them to arise, no?
On what? So, on what chitta depends.
Yeah, depend on what
rest
chitta
on
arise.
Based on what chitta arise.
Based on this ayatana, no? So we'll see. It's so easy to understand. You already know.
Yes.
So for eye consciousness to arise, we need, of course, eye sensitivity, eye base. Pasada rupa here. Then we also need another important thing. We also need rupa, the visible object.
The object.
No? So these two are important for Chakku Vijnana to arise. So here, eye sensitivity serves like the door for the contact, no, to get in contact with the visible object. So when these two get in contact, then
visual consciousness arise. We know we are looking at a screen. We know we are looking at a table or a wall, whatever. Now consciousness right now is happening because of our door is functioning, our eyes work, and there are objects to be seen. Then the mind recognizes, this is a computer or a phone, whatever we're looking in front of us.
Yes. So here, this rupa, this pasada rupa, chakku pasada, eye sensitivity is here called chakkayatana, eye-based.
The base of the eye, where the seeing process starts and then consciousness arises.
So rupa, the object here, the visible object is called rupayatana, the visible object based. So in this category, then you will see then eye pasada rupa, this chakku pasada itself is called one based, and its object is called another based.
We need both. Yeah, we need both. If our eye works very properly, but there were no objects to be seen, eye consciousness will not arise. So both of them, we have 2 bases right now here, and the same you will see. We will go a little bit quicker in the next senses. It is just the same. We explain one, but then it happens the same with the ear and the door ear and the sound that we need both of these bases for ear sound consciousness to arise in our mind, and then in the same way we go to smelling ear consciousness. We go.
So here it's called sotayatana, ear-based, and then its object called sadayatana, sound-based.
Sada is the sound. We have sota, which is the ear, the sensitivity of the ear, and then sada, which is goes directly with its object. For the ear, sounds. For the eyes, of visible forms. Yes.
So because based on these 2 things, then its correspondent consciousness, eye consciousness or ear consciousness arises, no? So they are a base for consciousness to arise. So therefore they are called ayatana, the house or the base of a consciousness to arise, no? So in the same way as Bhante said, then no sensitivity serve as the door, then we have smell, In the same
as
way,
an object,
jhana or vijnana arise.
Now we have 6 bases by now, so we are going quite quickly. Nose base and the smell object, that they are the 2 bases for consciousness. In the same way, we go with taste. We have the taste, the door of the tongue, and the taste that comes in contact with the tongue. Flavor consciousness arise, or
here it is called jiva yatana, tongue base, rasa yatana, taste base.
Rasa means
taste.
rasa means taste.
Yeah, in the rupa we have already seen this. No?
Yeah, we have seen this before.
So body sensitivity, same way, tangible object, same way, kaya vijnana arise, same way. So here the pasada rupa is called kayatana, body base, pottabhayatana, tangible object.
Pottabhayatana. So by now we have 5 senses, 2 for each. We have 10 bases already.
Yes. Okay, so we see eye based, rupa, visible object base. Then we have the ear base, sound base, nose based, smell based, tongue based, taste based, body based, and tangible object based. So as we've seen, then here is actually talking about the 5 senses, the door and its object. So here the ayatana, we have 10 already. So as we say, there are 12 ayatanas. So something is missing here. Yes. So what is missing? The mind, no? So 5 senses already there, so mind is missing. So we still have the mind base, and the objects of the mind, no? Which is here called manayatana and dhammayatana. Manayatana means mind based, and dhammayatana is the object of the mind, here called Dhamma based.
Dhamma in the sense of phenomena, not as the Buddha's teaching, but in terms of natural phenomena. Whatever the mind recognizes based on the senses and itself, because the mind can think without looking or without listening. The mind can think by itself. So whatever the mind can touch, the objects, the food of the mind, that is Dhammayatana as a natural phenomenon that can be experienced by the mind.
Yes. Okay. So now here the other 5, the group of the 5, the pair, the 10 ayatanas are very easy to understand. And here manayatana and dhammayatana, we need a little bit more details to be specific. What are they? No. So manayatana here, what is the house or the base of the mind? What is called the manayatana, and what is called dhammayatana? Here we have to look a little bit, which is easy to understand, but we have to mention. Now manayatana. So based on what does consciousness or does other types of mind besides chakku, vijnana, and all these 5 sense, dvipancha vijnana, besides the 5 senses consciousness, other consciousness based on what to arise? Now let's go back to the mental process
briefly. Yeah.
In the mental process, we see that the mind arises and then passes away. Another mind arises and then passes away. Another mind arises, passes away. Mind arises and passes away. No. So here in this category, we need to understand that if the previous mind does not arise and does not cease, the other mind cannot arise. Yes, so it must arise, cease, and then the other mind that can arise. Then it must cease, and then another mind can arise. So here, all kinds of chittas are called manayatana, are called mind-based.
Why so soft?
Because it arises and it passes away.
So we are looking at a diseased mental process already. That's why
I made it transparent.
It's the ghost of a mental process. Now I understand.
Well, it's because it arises and it passes away. So
it's just the smell of the mental process. Yes.
I didn't make it not transparent. Anyway, so manayatana in this case is the all chittas are considered as manayatana in this case, because one must arise and another pass away, another arise and another pass away. So previously we have seen also in other groups the mind door. The mind door is considered bhavanga chitta as mind door, no? Because although it is transparent, I hope you see, because from the bhavangas, it is where the active mind door process arises.
Yes. So from the neutral of the mind, so the activity arises.
The door, mind door in the chapter 3, that section, as strictly speaking, mind door is actually bhavanga chitta, no? But here, all chittas are included because one have to arise only when the other ceased. So they are called mind-based here. So mind-based, all chittas are called mind-based here in this group. Now, so then we have to look at the object now. Dhammayatana, Dhamma base, which are the objects of all chittas. No? So Dhammayatana, what can the mind take as object? Basically, the mind can take everything, no? Everything can be taken as object as the mind. Chitta, Chittasika, Rupa, and even Nibbana, no? Because Lokutara Chittas, Magga and Phala take Nibbana as object. So here, everything, the mind can take as object. But here we have a little bit detailed. For the Dhammayatana, the Dhamma base, we have to exclude a few of them. Why is that so? If you remember in the 5 khandhas, remember in the Cettasika place, we have Vedana-khandha, we have Sanya-khandha, we have Sankhara-khandha, no?
Yes.
So Sankhara-khandha is the 50 Cettasika minus Vedana and minus Sanya. But because they themselves are singled out as one aggregate already. So the other 50 does not include them. So here in the same way.
That's a good explanation.
Yeah, so here in the same way, the manayatana, although the mind can take everything as object, but these ones, they are singled out already. They're
already taken as one ayatana. Already the Buddha explained them as one ayatana. That's why they are not actually these that are already an ayatana in themselves are not included in the Dhammayatana in this categorization. Remember, yes, the mind can take those objects, but in this categorization, because they are already one, no need to repeat them.
Yes,
cannot repeat them. We have only one eye. We have only one faculty of listening. Although, yeah.
Yeah. So in this case. It's just as Bhante said, although the mind can take them, but since they are already mentioned, so we don't repeat them anymore. So in this case, Dhammayatana is everything minus this.
Minus this 5. 10, sorry.
Minus this 10, no? Yeah. So in other words, to make it clear, we can say that Dhammayatana is actually all ultimate realities minus the other ayatanas that is already mentioned, the other 11 ayatanas already mentioned is Dhammayatana. I'm sorry, I go a little bit fast. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes. We will see. We will see some of these categorizations and details in different places. So later on, one get used. It's because it is already included. That's why it's not mentioned.
Repeated.
As Charana says in the khandhas that we saw right now, it's clear there.
Okay, now, so all ultimate realities can be taken by the mind as object, but because these ones are mentioned already, so we take them out to avoid repetition. So everything minus this 11 is Dhammayatana. But we will go through now, don't worry, we will go through again, group by group to make a revision to see what exactly is Dhammayatana. No? Okay, until now, until here, is everybody okay?
Everybody okay? Any questions? Question, comment? Everybody okay? Clear? Good. Okay.
Can we continue?
So continue.
Yes?
Yes. Okay. And I think after this, we take the break.
Yes. Okay, now, so everything minus this one. So let's see. Let's go group by group now. Let's go. So, okay, let's see among rupa, what is already included. So we take it out, and so we see what is left over is included in Dhammayatana. No? So among the 28 kinds of rupa,
which saw deeply in chapter number 6.
Yes.
Any doubt or you want to remember something? You can access the videos. Yes.
So the 5 pasada rupas. Then we have
sensitivities,
Then we have the
objects of each
rupa,
sense,
sound, and then smell and taste, and then we have the 4 great elements:
earth, fire, wind, and water.
Then we have the gender rupa,
femininity, masculinity, heart base.
And we have the jivitindriya,
the life,
ahara, and then we have
nutrition
the
and space.
Then we have the intimations. Then we have the characteristic of flexibility and the 3 of them. Then we have the characteristics of arising and passing away and the existence. No? So
the 28 kind of rupas.
So among these 28 kind of rupas, let's see what is already included. So we take it away now. So I
already check
there. Okay.
Ear,
gone.
check. Nose, check.
Already
Tongue.
āyatana, tongue.
Yes. Body, yes.
Okay, then the 4
Objects.
Okay, gone.
All of them.
Now,
Boom.
what about, if we remember, tangible object is what in ultimate reality? Actually, the combination of earth, fire, and wind element. No? These 3 is what we can actually touch.
We cannot touch water. You remember, we only touch the temperature of it, the consistency of it, and we can experience the movement of it, but not really the cohesion. As what the quality of water. Yes.
Yes. So this āyatana is the 3 of them.
So
this 3 is gone. So all these are already āyatana. So all what is left over is actually the 16 sukuma rupa, the subtle matters.
The last that stayed. The sukuma, yes.
So these ones are included in the dhammayatana. No? Yes. Okay, so let's see another grouping. Now let's go to chitta and chittasika. So as we have seen, then what is meant by mind or manayatana here, manayatana, mind base, as we have seen, is all chittas. No, all chitta is said to be manayatana. So all chittas are gone. So what is left here is the 52 chittasikas. And we have one more thing in ultimate reality, which is nibbana, no? Yes, nibbana, also not included yet. So therefore, only these 52 cettasika, 16 sukuma rupa, and nibbana, it is what is called dhammayatana here. Dhamma base, no? The objects of the mind here. Okay, is that clear?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so in order to make it just a little bit clear in the mind and to see it in another presentation, that we'll see it in the way in the table form. Well, not table, but the list form. Again, it's the same thing now. So we'll see, like, to compare with the 5 khandhas, 12 ayatanas. Now, vijnana khandha or chitta is called manayatana. Same thing, 89 or 121 chittas. No. Then here we go to rupa. Then the other group, the 5 pasada rupa and its object, which potaba is these 3, they are each of them 1 ayatana. So we have manayatana 1, then chakayatana, sotayatana, and like this, no, nose and all these ayatanas. So what is left, everything that is left over is called dhammayatana, dhamma base, which are, in this case, the 52 cetasikas from the mind side and 16 sukuma rupa from the rupa side, and plus 1 nibbana. So these ones that are left from the other ayatanas are called dhammayatana here in this presentation. Now, if you see, since we are talking about Sabha Sangaha, the compendium of all, so you will see here actually what we are talking about actually is still again chitta, chittasika, rupa, and nibbana. So in this ayatana, then everything is included.
The 4 ultimate realities
is already included. Yes. So this is the separation of ayatana, which again is the same thing as Bante mentioned, same thing divided into different groupings. For the temperament or for the understanding of different people, as the Buddha, throughout the 45 years of his teachings, he have met so many people with so many different temperaments, so many different
ideas,
maturity of the wisdom,
level of practice. So he explained in many ways. Remember, it was 45 non-stop teaching every day, the whole day. He slept very little. And it is said that in the day he was teaching to humans, and during the night when the monks were asleep, he continued teaching the devas. So actually he was sleeping very little and just serving and serving, explaining how does it work. So every individual like us right now could get whatever was necessary to continue giving the next steps in their inner development.
Yes. Okay. So until here, we are okay.
Everybody okay? This last one was a little bit it's just kind of grouping, and actually that one at the end contained the whole four ultimate realities.
So in the same way, the next group is dhātu. The element is again a little bit finer grouping, but since we have already seen a lot, it actually is basically most of them are the same as the ayatanas, as the base.
A
so
few more are subdivided.
Subdividing a little bit more. So let's take a break here.
From 12 to 8, so 6 more actually from 12.
Yes.
From 12 to 18, 6 more elements that are separated to be seen as elements. Dhatus. Okay, let's take the break now.
Let's take the break. 4 minutes.
Everybody okay?
We'll come back for dhātu.
Okay, let's go.
Yes, it's the next category is actually not difficult and not different. It is basically very close as āyatana, basically the same. The ones we have now seen, 12 āyatanas, 12 bases. These bases, it comes out so many times in the scriptures, so it's good that we know what it is. The Buddha explained this āyatana, Sayadaw U Kamsachara reminded us, the Buddha explained about āyatanas for those persons who are more inclined, they need more explanation about rupa. So you see that there is lots of rupa, 11 of them, like 10, no?
Actually, we can see that the emphasis is on rupa. There are 6 for just the senses and their objects, and then mind is everything else included. And there are other people more mind-oriented or that had that ability, tendency. The Buddha will explain different characteristics of mind and just mention rupa, the whole of the rupa as a one punch.
Yes, for the person of ayatanas, they easily understand about the mind. So when you talk about the mind, then they understand easily. But we need a little bit more information about rupa. So therefore, the Buddha explained it this way. So in the dhātus is the opposite. The Buddha explained a little bit more about the mind, what is it called? The rupa, that those ones are also there. But again, the mind and people that need a little bit more information about mind and about matter as well. So a little bit more information is being given. Sometimes because people, some people, they are more intellectually oriented, so they like to understand more in detail different things. So the Buddha, because of the tendency of the beings, he explained in different ways. Okay, so let's see the next
just to make an announcement, Fair just share a video which is the Buddha's daily schedule. Interesting.
Yeah, I think very interesting.
Yes. What was he doing? Thank you, Fair. It's on the chat for whoever wish to. Thank you, Fair.
Yes, thank you. Okay, now let's go to the 18 dhātus. Now 18 dhātus, among these 18 dhātus, as Bante said, it's 12 here, so we need another 6. Yes. So here 11 of them are actually exactly the same. This one, now instead of calling it I based, we're calling it I element. So it was cakkhandha, here is called Chakku dhātu, no? So here rupa yatana is called rupa dhātu here, no? So just exactly the same thing, same ultimate reality. Even here, this one, same ultimate reality. So what is different is the way how it is being arranged. Now, if we see in the ayatanas, for the 5 senses, it is door and object, no? Door and its object, door and its object, door and its object. So for the ayatana, another thing is included in this set, in this explanation. So the door, its object, and its correspondent vijnana is the set of 3. So here, I element, rupa element, and the chakku vijnana element, let's say. The I consciousness element. So here is the 3 is separated in this classification, in this set, a set of 3 for the 5 senses. So here, how many we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 already. Now then we have what is missing here, the other 2. Yes, the other 2. So we have here Dhammayatana. We already said it is exactly the same. Dhamma dhātu is exactly the same as Dhamma āyatana, no? Dhamma āyatana. So here we don't have to mention again. They are the 52 cetasikas, 16 sukuma rupa, and 1 nibbana, no? As we have just seen right now. So this no change.
No change.
So that means the only change is here. Yes. consciousness, because you see in this group manayatana, in the previous group it means all chittas, no, but now here these chittas are being separated out, being singled out already, so again we have to take them away, no, like in other categories, no, so it's not difficult to understand. Manayatana, all chittas. Now dhātu, these ones are being taken out, so we have to take them out. The eye, ear, nose, tongue, and body sensitivity. Consciousness, we have to take them out.
Yes.
Now here, there is one detail. When it is said, when it is called dhātu, each of them are actually two. So let's see. For the eye, here it is called chakku viññāna dhātu. The eye consciousness element. So whenever
or the element of eye consciousness.
Whenever you see chakku viññāna dhātu, we have to understand that it is a pair. It is two. Why is it so? Because there is one akusala vipaka and there is one kusala vipaka. No, so there are two types of chakku viññāna. No, from the akusala vipaka and from kusala vipaka, when we see agreeable objects and disagreeable object. No. So in this chakku viññāna dhātu, whenever we see these two words, we understand that it means two chittas. Kusala vipaka chakku viññāna, akusala vipaka chakku viññāna. Okay? So in the same way for sota viññāna dhātu, again, the two, kusala vipaka, akusala vipaka, when we hear a nice thing and when we hear a disagreeable sound. And then same for ghana viññāna dhātu, two of them. When we have a good smell and
smelly.
Bad smell. Yes. Then for the tongue, again, jiva viññāna dhātu. So when we taste something good or when we taste something bad. And with kaya viññāna dhātu, the body. So we have the pleasant body touch or unpleasant body touch.
Oh, pobrecita.
Yes. Okay, so here dhātus, in this case, chakku viññāna dhātu, sota viññāna dhātu, gandha viññāna dhātu, jiva viññāna dhātu, kaya viññāna dhātu. These five are, in ultimate reality, 10 chittas. No? Each one of them two, kusala vipaka, akusala vipaka. So 10 chittas here. So each of them, each two of them, each pair is called one element, one dhātu, separated. These words, chakku viññāna dhātu, this dhātu, remember it because in the next chapter in the Patana, it will come out.
It will come a lot. We will know when we refer to the dhātus, we can come back and look at these charts. What was it? Was the eye consciousness, kusala, nakusala, etc., etc.
Okay, now, then for the manayatana, here we have separated another five, and there is still another two groups. The next one is called mano dhātu, mind element. Mind element, yes. So what is mind element? Mind element is actually refers to three chittas. They are the pañcakkhandha avajana chitta, the five sense averting consciousness.
The part of the mind that turns towards the object, to the door of the senses.
Plus two receiving consciousness. So why are there two receiving consciousness? Because again, it is one kusala vipaka and one akusala vipaka, no? So these three are called mano dhātu, mind elements. So why are these ones separated, singled out as one group? Because actually these three are very simple chittas. They only do a very simple job. No, if we look at them, the 5-door mental process, you will see they are actually the one before and one after the five sense consciousness. Pañcakkhandha vajana chitta and the sampatichana chitta. Two of them, no? Because one akusala vipaka, one kusala vipaka, depending on the object, but position does not change, no? So mano dhātu, mind element, we can sometimes, because when we were reading, this happened in personal experience. Previously, I said, mano dhātu, what was it? Which consciousness was it? Like that. So we can remember they are one before and one after
the two beside the five sense consciousness as mano,
dhātu. So you see, one is only just turning and the other only receiving. They basically do a very simple job. They are much simpler than other types of consciousness. No, even santirana, investigating consciousness, they have more job. No, they investigate a little bit, or
looking
they can
a little bit. What is this?
They can even become a rebirth consciousness. No, for lower beings. Remember, for akusala vipaka. No, for the patisandhi of the beings in the lower realms. No, so it has more work to do actually. So these two are very simple jobs.
Very quiet
yes.
chittas.
So these three are actually three. They are grouped as mano dhātu here. So it's further separated in this way. One panchadvara vajana chitta, two sampatichana. Okay, so now there is one more group, last group. This all chittas are further divided into one more group. This group is called mano vijnana dhātu. So in English, it could be translated as mind consciousness element. Mano, mind, vijnana, consciousness, dhātu, element. Mano vijnana dhātu. So what is mano vijnana dhātu? Easy.
Two.
All other chittas. Everything but these two groups. Okay, so now here, in comparison with manayatana, is just a little bit further division of chittas into the dvipancha vijnana, no? We can say the how did we say in English? Dvipancha vijnana?
The two groups of five
sense consciousness. No? The pancha.
What in English?
Yeah. Anyway, I think they understand already. Anyway, so this five. Okay. This five, and then we have another group, mano dhātu and mano vijnana dhātu. These two words, mano dhātu, mano vijnana dhātu, it will come out in patana. All these actually will come out in the patanas. So here also is this classification.
We could make finally as like a cheat sheet, no? Later on, we put all the so whenever we are looking at patana, we have a way. This one. I think it's gonna be a good idea to do some of this like that.
So when we all this information we will need for the next chapter. Okay, so now with this we finished with the 18 dhātus. So let's see, what was it? The three eye element, visible object element, eye consciousness element, and the same for the five senses. Then we have mano dhātu, mano vijnana dhātu, and then the five senses consciousness already here, no, separated. So these two, and then all these, no, and then the dhamma object. And then the dhamma object, yes. Okay, so these are the 18 dhātus. Let's count, no? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, so 18 dhātus. Yes. Okay, basically same thing again, just further division. So I think until here, everything's okay. Does anybody have any comments or questions?
Any question until now? Everybody okay? Everybody okay? Okay,
no problems. Okay, great.
Yes.
Okay, so
let's breathe. Let's
this
is the last one.
Yeah, let's breathe 1 minute.
Yes, let's breathe 1 minute.
30 seconds.
We are fine. We are almost in the middle. I think we will make it today. Finish the 7th chapter. Good. We are advancing. Going to the last category, my dear family, the 4 noble truths. So buckle up because it's coming. But fortunately, we have seen many things before. So let's see the details, and then you tell us something that you need.
Yes, so we come to the last section of the compendium of all, Sabhasanghaha, which is the 4 noble truths. Very important. No, this is the heart of the Buddha's teaching. No?
Yes, the heart.
So let's. We're already quite familiar with the 4 noble truths, so there are only a few details that I will share with you here. The 4 noble truths in Pali is called Ariya Satcha. Ariya means the noble, not the noble one, so noble. Satcha means the truth. So noble truth. The 4 noble truths, there are 4 of them. So let's just take a look of the Pali name, because most of the time we know that suffering, the cause of suffering, cessation of suffering, and the path
leading to the cessation.
So let's just take a look of the Pali word to get familiar with them. First one is called dukkha ariya satcha. So simply, no, ariya satcha, noble truth, so dukkha. So the noble truth of suffering. The next one is called dukkha samudaya ariya satcha. Samudaya is the arising, no, actually. So here it means the noble truth of the cause of suffering, no?
The noble truth of the arising of suffering.
The cause,
yeah, the cause meaning.
The arising, yes. So the cause of suffering, dukkha samudaya. Dukkha samudaya ariya satcha. Then we have dukkha nirodha ariya satcha. So nirodha means cessation, means the
termination.
Yes, the finishing of it, no more. So
perishing.
Finishing of the dukkha. No? So dukkha nirodha ariya satcha, the noble truth of the cessation of suffering.
Meaning enlightenment. When a person gets enlightened, all suffering ceases.
The last one is a little bit long, but it's called dukkha nirodha gamini patipada ariya satcha, the noble truth of the path to the cessation of suffering. So dukkha nirodha, we already seen, same as here, the cessation of suffering. Gamini means the way, the going towards there, no, gamini. Patipada, the path to the cessation of suffering. So this,
the path to go to the cessation of suffering. Meaning the Noble Eightfold Path, what we saw briefly, Sila, Samadhi, and Paña.
Yes. So what is called the Noble Truth, Ariya Satcha, or what is called truth in the Buddha's teaching, it is important that we understand this point, that it is not necessary that it is something, well, because when we say truth, sometimes we think that it is something high, lofty, wholesome, or something great, no? So, but in the Buddha's teaching, it is not necessarily that it must be wholesome or it must be high, it must be good in order to become a truth. So whatever is true, is really true, is called truth in the Buddha's teaching. So whether it is wholesome or unwholesome, high or low,
it is true. If it exists, it is true.
So that is called the noble
if
truth.
It has an ultimate reality and it can be experienced, it is true.
Yes, even lobha and even dosa and all these things are
true.
Also included, no? Because even they are not wholesome or they are not lofty or high, they are still true, they exist. So this is called, that's why in the Buddha's teaching, truth means something really true, only because it is true. So,
and in this case, is added the ariya, which is the noble, the noble one.
Yes, and why is it called ariya? Now we will come in just a few
slides,
minutes later. Now, these four noble truths are being realized by the Buddha himself while he was sitting under the Bodhi tree. During the night when he was practicing Vipassana meditation under the Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya, no? So when he got enlightened, he understood the Four Noble Truths, and this Four Noble Truth is rediscovered, let's say, by him for the first time since the disappearance of the teachings of the previous Buddha, the Kassapa Buddha. No? From that time on, that since the teaching is all gone, then nobody know about this Four Noble Truths for a long time, until in that moment when the Buddha was practicing under the Bodhi tree, and he realized and he rediscovered about this Four Noble Truths again. Then later on, after he gained enlightenment, for 45 years, he continuously explained about this Four Noble Truths, which is the main teaching of the Buddha, no?
The heart of his teaching.
No? Yes. So now let's go to see why are these four called the Noble Truths. So in the commentaries, the teachers, they explained that a few different explanations of why these four called Noble Truths. The first one is because they are penetrated and understood by the noble ones, by the Buddhas, no? So all the Buddhas understand this, and all the Arahants, or all the enlightened disciples, they understand them. So therefore, it is called Noble Truth because they are penetrated and understood by the Noble One, is the first explanation of why is it called Noble Truth. The second one is that because it is a truth taught by the Noble Ones, therefore it is called the Noble Truth. And another explanation is that it is called the Noble Truth because the realization of them leads to the state of a Noble One.
understanding them makes
one
or
noble.
will make us noble.
So therefore it is
The
called
mind,
the
because
truth.
in order to see them, experience them, the mind might be very, very clean, very stable with the noble eightfold path balance. So just the practice on there, or the getting close to it, is ennobling us on the way.
And when we realize them, then one really becomes an Arya.
Really becomes a noble one.
A noble one.
You remember the change of lineage? That is the kind of that's when our mind stop being a worldly mind, like looking for the senses and such, and then become a supra mundane mind. It's beyond the happiness it reaches is beyond the senses and the world.
Yes, and last explanation, another explanation why is it called the noble truth is because they are real, they are unalterable, they are undeceptive truth about existence.
It is a fact. Even we don't need to, either we believe or not on their existence. They exist, it happens. Let's start with suffering. I think we can all easily say that suffering exists in the world, at least that one. We might not have clear the cause and the way out of it, but definitely starting with it, the first one is not difficult to discover. We experience in ourselves.
Yes, so they are called noble truth because of these four explanations, so four ways of understanding about Arya. No?
So if you wish to take a screenshot or something as a note.
Sorry, I didn't
leave a, but no problem. I think you can see there still. Yes.
Okay, so now let's go to them one by one, a little bit of details of each of them. The first one, the first Arya Satya, is dukkha, Arya Satya, the noble truth of suffering. No, so here what we need to understand is dukkha.
The unsatisfactoriness. Remember that dukkha is more than suffering. It's just this sense of never ending. We arrive to peace and stability, but soon nature and age take it away, and then we need to try again and try again and try again. Yes.
So dukkha, translated most of the time as suffering, but we need to understand it also as in a deeper way. As Bhante said, we can sometimes use the word unsatisfactoriness, but most of the teachers prefer to let it and leave it untranslated. So dukkha is dukkha. So we understand now. We need to understand what is dukkha. No? So the Buddha explained in the suttas. Now we will go to that sutta also, that birth, jati, old age, jara, sickness, vyadi, and death, marana, is dukkha. No? This we understand quite easily. And then the Buddha further explained that the association with the unloved things or person and the separation with from the loved things or person also is dukkha, and also not getting what one wants is also dukkha. No?
The three causes for a human being to suffer will be associating with that which is unpleasant or unloved, to be separated from the love, or not getting whatever one wishes. Yes. So let's go. Yes, I go.
Yes. So the Buddha said,
birth is dukkha, aging is dukkha, death is dukkha. Sorrow, lamentation, pain, distress, and despair are dukkha. Association with the unbeloved is dukkha. Separation from the loved is dukkha. Not getting what is wanted is dukkha. In short, the 5 aggregates of clinging are dukkha. We just saw it. The 5 aggregates in ourselves and the 5 aggregates in somebody else that we might be attached. And as we saw in the Upādāna, it's not intrinsically that the things are bad or hurtful. It is the attachment we develop towards being young, towards health and life, etc., etc. If the attachment is there, when that thing changes, naturally dukkha will be a consequence.
Yes, but here, as we seen just a little while ago, the 5 aggregates of clinging, what does it mean? It means the object, the things that can be taken by lobha and ditthi, no? So all lokiya states. So all lokiya states, the Buddha said, all lokiya states are dukkha. So this one, birth, aging, death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, distress, despair, association with the unbeloved, separate from the love, not getting what one wants, are dukkha. This is explained in the Samyutta Nikaya, Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, the first
discourse that the Buddha gave
to the Pañcakkhandha, to the 5 ascetics.
Near Varanasi,
yes,
in the deer park.
Explaining about the first noble truth, no? So in other words, in other place, the Buddha said in the Dhammapada, Sabe sankhara dukkha. So all conditioned things are unsatisfactory or are dukkha, no? So in short, the 5 aggregates of clinging, which are every single thing that can become an object of loba and ditthi, of loba and ditthi in ultimate reality, meaning all lokiya states, or all lokiya states are conditioned. No? So all conditioned things are dukkha. And here, so we have to understand dukkha well. And here I will read and I will quote Sayadaw Silananda from his explanation about the Abhidhamma. Okay. Now, Sayadaw Silananda says, the 5 aggregates of clinging themselves are suffering. The Sayadaw is a little bit strong here. Let's see what he says. That is why we must be honest in describing the noble truth of suffering. Sometimes people want to soften the meaning of the word so it will be acceptable to many people. They say it is subject to suffering or something like that. It is not subject to suffering, but it itself is suffering. We must understand this whether we like it or not. When the Buddha said the 5 aggregates of clinging are suffering, he says they are suffering, not that they are subject to suffering. If they are subject to suffering, then suffering is one thing and the 5 aggregates would be something else. But here, what the Buddha meant is that the aggregates themselves are suffering because they are oppressed by arising and disappearing.
Anicca, arising and passing away.
You must understand the real meaning of dukkha. What is the meaning of dukkha? Dukkha's meaning is being oppressed by arising and disappearing. This is the characteristics of dukkha. This is the mark of dukkha. If you want to know whether something is dukkha or not, you must try to find out if it is oppressed by arising and disappearing. That is very important. Only when you see dukkha in that way do you really see dukkha. Otherwise, your understanding of dukkha is not deep enough. So this is Sayadawji's words.
Wow.
So important thing, I just put the 2 important thing here.
When the Buddha said the 5 aggregates of clinging are suffering, he said they are suffering, not that they are subject to suffering. And dukkha's meaning is being something that is oppressed by arising and disappearing. This is the characteristic of dukkha. As Sayadawji says, just by checking if something will disappear sooner or later, it will be to suffering. It is suffering, arising and passing away.
Yes, so just a few seconds to digest what Sayadaw said. The real meaning of dukkha, because it arises and it passes away. Not that, not to soften the word that it is subject to suffering, not that it is. Sayadaw said, when the Buddha meant they are suffering, it is really that they are really suffering. They are dukkha themselves because they arises and passes away.
Whatever changes, whatever is under the law of anicca, it will be dukkha. It is dukkha.
Okay, so I think with this quotation of Sayadaw, then we understand what the first noble truth, what it wants to say. So basically, all lokiya chittas, all lokiya states are suffering.
Worldly states, yes.
Everything. In ultimate reality, all conditioned things are included in this category of the first noble truth, except loba. Why? Because it belongs to the second Arya Satya, just like all the other categories, because it is singled out
singled out
as a single category,
truth in this case.
Therefore, it is not included. But of course, lobha also is dukkha, no? Because it also arises and passes away.
Yeah, that's the word to
sense,
use.
No?
It is singled out. That's why it's not there.
Yeah.
So the second truth is that of the noble truth of the cause of suffering. Dukkha samudaya ariya satcha. The cause of that suffering, then it will be this craving, tanha.
In ultimate reality, lobha, no?
The attachment that arises from it.
Yes. Okay. So now about this second noble truth, this tanha, this craving here, it is actually divided into 3 categories. And we will go into a little details here.
I think we have seen this also briefly in the past. So.
Yes. This is easy to understand. This craving is divided into kamatanha, bhavatanha, and vibhavatanha. So kamatanha, craving for sense pleasure, then bhavatanha, vibhavatanha, usually it is translated as craving for continued existence and craving for annihilation. But now here, Sayadaw reminds us that we have to be very careful about these 2, because the translation might be a little bit misleading in the sense. And then Sayadaw said most of the time it is being misunderstood, these last 2 category, no? I mean, these last 2 aspect, no? The bhavatanha and vibhavatanha. So we will see. Now, kamatanha, craving for pleasure,
sensual pleasure.
This is easy to understand. No? We have already talked a lot about it. So it's
we want
nothing
experience pleasant things through the senses.
So
what is normal in the world a lot.
So we don't have to repeat. Let's go to bhavatanha. Now, bhavatanha, is translated as craving for continued existence, no? But let's see what Sayadaw explained. Now, actually, Sayadaw explained what the Visuddhimagga and other commentaries explain. So it is actually explanation from Visuddhimagga and other commentaries. It is explained that bhava here actually means eternalist view. So this bhavatanha here, actually, it means the lobha or the tanha, which is accompanied by the wrong view that everything is permanent. I repeat again. Bhavatanha here actually means tanha accompanied by wrong view that things are permanent.
Or the wish for them to be permanent.
So here, this bhavatanha does not actually means the craving for continued existence.
That's
in this
nice.
case,
that's very nice to remember.
Not really like that. So it actually means that it is craving accompanied by wrong view that things are permanent. So not necessarily because we want to live next life as a Brahmin, next life I want to continue living and living, but those tanha, those lobha that is associated with the wrong view that things are permanent. We continue, we keep existing. So with this view, lobha mula citta, no, together with ditti, no, this is called bhavatanha.
Wow, this is very important, eh? Really nice.
So we need not misunderstand this, no? Now, let's go to vibhavatanha. In the same way, vibhavatanha, craving for annihilation, no? It translated as. So vibhava is actually the opposite of bhava here. So here it means annihilationist view. Yeah. What does this view means? That means that thinking that when we die, everything is finished. So nothing, there is nothing more. So in this case, vibhavatanha is actually lobha or the tanha that is accompanied by the wrong view that everything dies and there is no more, with the idea of annihilation.
Yeah, this one is closer to the
closer
to the translation that normally is given.
Yes, because sometimes craving for annihilation, the theology said that we translate it as craving for annihilation. That means craving for death or craving for non-existence, or so it actually says that he is not comfortable of this translation because it actually does not really show what it actually is. It is actually tanha with wrong view that everything is finished when we die.
There is no results
because we want to die.
So it's kind of denying the law of karma. There are no results from our actions. Nothing will come later on, be it good or bad. Nothing will come. Only sometimes the teachers give the example when somebody might desire annihilation is somebody who's suicide. That person has the view that by killing himself or herself will finish with that suffering or unpleasant situation is. But I think this is way more
specific.
Specific.
No? Because
I think we should keep these two present.
Yes, because somebody might want to suicide because mostly dosa.
Dosa, that would be dosa.
They want to
aversion
of the present situation. No?
Yes.
So here actually the person might not want to die at all. It's just that he has the idea. No.
So what do you mean?
Sorry, I was wanting to say the vibhava-tanha. So a person, not necessarily he want to die, just that he has this tanha with the wrong view that when he dies, everything is finished. So annihilation,
like a materialistic view, so which is it exists definitely, and it denies the law of karma, which makes no sense with nature.
Yes, so we need to understand vibhava-tanha does not mean that somebody wants to die or somebody wants craving for non-existence, but actually it is the craving with wrong view.
Yes.
With this kind of wrong
craving.
View, no?
So in short, craving with the wrong idea for that things are permanent, and the wrong view of annihilation. There is no result of my actions. Yes.
Yes. So the second Arya Satya, the noble truth of the cause of suffering is that in ultimate reality lobha in three ways: kamma-tanha, bhava-tanha, and vibhava-tanha.
Yeah.
So it is the lobha itself or lobha associated with ditthi. Okay?
Yes. Everybody okay?
Yes. Okay. So let's go to the third Arya Satya.
Yes. Going good.
Yes, we will finish.
Yes, we will be able to finish.
So, Dukkha Nirodha Arya Satya.
¿Cómo está, Charana? Muy bien.
Now, the noble truth of the cessation of suffering is easy to understand. We all know that it is Nibbana, no? Yes, so that is the total cessation of suffering anymore. So, Nirodha means cessation. The disappearance of what? Disappearance of suffering. No more suffering.
Fortunately, it exists.
Yes. So it is Nibbana, which is to be realized by what? By the eradication of the second noble truth, the eradication of these three types of tanha. And it is with the realization of Nibbana, the eradication of craving happened in the same time.
Yes. If we eradicate the cause, the effect is impossible to arise. There is no cause. So by recognizing it, working against the natural tendency of craving, we will be able to stop it. And then the effect will be this freedom.
Okay. So that's the third noble truth. Let's go to the last one.
So in short, that is Nibbana, the possibility for human beings to free from suffering and get enlightened, purify their minds, no more attachments, no more aversion or ignorance. Yes. Good. Then the fourth noble truth, which is the noble truth of the path leading to the cessation of suffering. What needs to be done? Fortunately, the Buddha left the instructions very clear, and we saw it before, we have seen it before, is the 8 practices that needs to be balanced between moral behavior, mental stability that arises from the moral behavior, and the wisdom that is the crown of it. And then the wheel starts turning, bringing our potentiality to nobler, beautiful, more beautiful, until it's totally free.
Yes. Four noble truth is the way out. No, so the Buddha first he explained that dukkha exists. So everything, all lokiya states, all mundane states are suffering. Why? Because they have the characteristics of arising and passing away. And why this dukkha? Why this dukkha? Because of craving. Because of craving, then we do good and we do bad, and then the results happen, and we continue staying in samsara rolling because of craving. No, yeah. So therefore, the cost of suffering is tanha. No, tanha. The 3 types of tanha. It is important first we know the symptom then of our sickness, then we know what is the cause of the.
We make a diagnosis.
What is the cause of?
Yes, the cause of the sickness.
Of that sickness. Then nibbana, that is the way out. So there is a state where there is no more sickness. The
prognosis of knowing the positive prognosis to say this can be finished. This the doctor, the Buddha, let's think as a spiritual doctor, and he recognized the symptoms, which is suffering, just a symptom in our lives. The cause of the diagnosis of the cause of the sickness, the cause of the suffering, the possibility to get healed, and then the medicine, which is the noble eight. The prescription is the noble eightfold path.
The fourth noble truth.
The benefactor of the world, the doctor of beings is the Buddha, by recognizing the sickness, the pain and the pain and the discomfort of suffering, and the liberation and the medicine to arrive to it.
Yes. Okay. So this dukkha nirodha gamini patipada means the noble eightfold path. Sometimes, in short, it is called magga sacca. In short, because it's magga, not just the noble eightfold path. Magga sacca, or the middle way. So sometimes these two other names mean the same thing.
Balance. Yeah.
So these are the four noble truths being realized by the Buddha during his Vipassana meditation under the Bodhi tree 2,600 years ago.
We are very fortunate that a human being had the ability and the wisdom so penetrative to realize it and have the compassion to have an ability to teach and leave us all this information. May all of us receive them with the best of our hearts and try them. Try this.
Okay, congratulations everybody. We come to the end of Sabasanghaha, the compendium of all, as well as the end of chapter 7. Of Abhidhamma.
Chapter 7 is finished. Yes, possible. Congratulations, everybody. Congratulations. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. 7th chapter is finished. 2 more to go. We are advancing. And very interesting coming. Maybe the deepest are coming.
Yes.
And
yes, so we have come a long way now. We have come a long way until we have arrived to this chapter 7. The next chapter is going to be about cause and effect. So it will cover the 2 most important teachings of the Buddha, which is the dependent origination,
paticca samuppada,
and the causal relations, conditional relations, which is the patana. No? So here we will need for these 2, for this next chapter, to understand these 2 teachings, we will need all the information that we have gathered from chapter 1 until chapter 7. Yes, until chapter 7.
So now it comes the cooking. The real cooking is coming. Until now we finish all the information. Really, my friends, joy for everybody. No more new information will come anymore, or in terms of elements and ingredients.
Yes.
Now we will see how they are cooked and baked into what we call life, what we call reality. So it's gonna...
From chapter 1 to chapter 6, we saw all what is nama and rupa, no?
Yes.
And in chapter 7, we saw the different categories, how they are classified into different groups. And so now in chapter 8, to understand the cause and effect, we will need all the ingredients, mind and matter, and then we will need the different classifications, because only these group names will come out. It will not be like so detailed anymore. So when they say the Chakku Vinyana or dhātu, mano dhātu, then we have to know what it is already. No? So we will need all the information from chapter 1 to chapter 7 to understand the next chapter. So here,
I mean, we will be remembering. Yes, we don't need to memorize or anything. We just have a cheat sheet around, or this book that we already recommended you. So whenever we, what was this to do? Is this one? This part of the mind, this part of the body, and it's quite simple. Then we can go through. It will require our attention, but yes, we have everything already. Everything. explain. Yes.
Yes. So here we have come the long way, and we have gathered a lot of information. We talked about it yesterday, and we thought it is a good time that we need to digest a little bit all the information that we have accumulated in this time, like almost 2 years?
How long have we been studying?
No, I think
how long?
Less. Yeah, 2 years.
2 years? When we started? Anybody has the record? It was January, no? 2 years, almost 2 years. Good. I think it's good. We are going even in good rhythm. It took us the first round 6 years for us because we were traveling.
Because, we stopped some months.
We went to the monastery. We went to Mexico. We were traveling, making the music, etc., etc. So
yes. So here we would like to also because the coming chapters is important, so we would like to take a break here before we continue,
prepare and gather information
for all of you to have a little time to revise chapter 1 to chapter 7. If there is any classes or any sessions that you have missed, then you can always go back to the channel and revise those sessions, or because sometimes we have something to do and we missed it 1 or 2 something, so you can go back.
We recommend you go back
to check those videos. And then also for us, they will take some time to prepare for the next class. So now we will take
the next chapters
for the for the next chapter, which is the Paticcasamuppada. So now that it will be a good time to take a break. So we will start again. We will stop here, chapter 7, and we will take a few weeks of break, and we will start again next year, the first week of January.
So we keep the holidays, and we will prepare, gather information. We are thinking on ways, because now we have a challenge for ourselves. As you know, we put everything into graphics, but now it's a little bit more tricky than the next chapter. We need to really think how we can put it in a simple way. We already have some ideas, and we have made some graphics before. So it will require some grouping of ourselves and making the mind clear. So my dear family, if everybody is fine, we will continue. Anyway, we are in contact in any way, email or WhatsApp. We are still, and any question that arise, we cannot be attending. And we will take this time to regroup in ourselves and see how can we do in a better way. And really, my dear family, the tasty, the juicy part is coming, especially Paticcasamuppada.
Yes.
So let's see.
Also, it is necessary to sync the mind with the information that we already have.
Yes.
So we do recommend you to even just taking this book, because these are lists, just go through a little bit what was what, and you don't need to be like very detailed and see all just the 70 videos again. No,
revision.
It's not necessary because it will be a lot. So just
70,
take a look.
no?
71.
71 videos.
Yes.
Good.
Well, today 72. Actually.
Good.
No, so you don't have to see other videos again. So just take a look at this book. Take a look of the list, what was what. And if you don't remember something, you can send me an WhatsApp, or you can also check the video, correspondent video, because it goes in chapter.
Yes, we recommend check the video, and then if still the doubt is there, well, then we check.
Send us a message, and then we can this month that we will take break. Then we can discuss, and then then we have the mind fresh with all the information. Then when we go to chapter 8, we will understand immediately. Otherwise, when we go to chapter 8,
what?
Wait, what was this? And then so we have to go back and then remember this, then have to come again. Then it will take time. No?
Good.
So if we are fresh, then it will be easier to advance.
Good is coming.
Actually, thanks to the Buddha and thanks to all the teachers, generation through generation, that has kept this information alive. So many times I remind myself, I do this sharing in honor of my teachers. Without them, I would not know about these things. No. So also our teachers, also for the teachers or the teachers. So at the end, it is the Buddha who gave us all the information. So may the Buddha's teaching last long. And the way that we contribute to the long lasting of the Buddha's teaching is to understand it, practice it, and also share to others, so it will be kept alive for a longer time.
For more generations to come, may our children and grandchildren be benefited by all this teaching. The Dhamma is beautiful in the beginning, beautiful in the middle, and beautiful at the end. It makes our lives better. So let's share merits from all these 2 years, my dear family. Thank you. Really, as a family, we're gathering together happily, patiently, May all these efforts yield many fruits and many beings be benefited, especially our parents, wherever they may be, brothers and sisters, sons and daughters, grandchildren, grandparents, friends, neighbors, co-workers. And hopefully these fruits are beneficial for many, many beings, my dear family. We cannot underestimate the power of kusala, and I am very grateful that we are at least trying to walk on that direction. Thank you so much.
Yes, let's recite may the Buddha's teaching last long. So.
Yeah.
No, so
we recite Buddham Sasanam Chiram Titatu, which means may the teaching of the Buddha last long. Buddha Sasanam Chiram Titatu, Buddha Sasanam Chiram Titatu, Buddha Sasanam Chiram Titatu, Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. And we share merits. Idano Punyam Sabasatanam Pajimam. Idano Punyam Sabasatanam Pajimam. Idano Punyam Sabasatanam Pajima. Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. We share merits with all beings, and may these merits be the condition for ourselves to realize Nibbana and be free from all suffering. Idano punyam nibbana sa pacheyo hotu. Idano punyam nibbana sa pacheyo hotu. Idano punyam nibbana sa pacheyo hotu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Blessings for all our teachers and gratitude to the blessed one. Thank you very much for.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a good night, my dear family.
And we keep in touch. And whatever, any questions, comments, just feel free to send us a message.
Yes.
And we'll see you again next year.
See you again. We stay in touch anyway. We continue the Wednesday sessions.
Yes, Wednesday
we'll be preparing,
also.
and then we continue. We are button away, my dear family. Stay well. I love you. I love you. Thank you. Samfusai. Yes. Meaning good effort. Good effort. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. See you soon.
Thank you. See you very soon.